Well, if I may have your attention, welcome to the September 12th meeting of the Tarrant County College Board of Trustees. I would like to call the meeting to order. We do have some speakers who would like to address the board tonight, and I would start with Mr. Jack Langdon and remind all of us that it's a 3-minute limit. Mr. Langdon, if you would approach the stand over here on the left with the microphone, please, sir.
Okay, thank you again for hearing me tonight. I'm here on a grievance problem that I've been directed here by the Chancellor's office, and I wanted to comply with their message to be sure that I heed, their warning about this. This, in brief, is a grievance that got wore out, being passed around to everybody, at Northeast Campus. I could get no replies from anyone on there. I came down here, met with Sharon Marshall of the Employee Relations. She told me that she would process this, that Northeast was her campus, and she was going to see that I got a reply and a solution to it. When I contacted her a few days later, she noted me that it had been passed to the president, Larry Darledge over here, and that he would give a reply. And I asked, why after she told me that she would do it, well, it was passed to him, and she said that it was a campus matter. So I told her, what matters wouldn't be a campus matter, when they generated there. She later changed this to the statement that I wasn't an employee, so again, the president was to handle the matter. Never got a reply from the president. Sharon Marshall refused to process it. I asked her to pass it on to the Chancellor. I asked her to pass it on to the Board of Directors. I could get no reply from her. Asked her a bunch of different questions about, evidence and proof of what was going on. Basically, the problem is this. One of the agents for the senior program out at Northeast said that I resigned. Several years ago, I started and founded the weight training program out there. I grew it from one class. I trained another student. It grew to 2 classes. I trained another student. It grew to 3 classes. Okay, then. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. This agent stated to these people behind my back that I was no longer going to be teaching those classes. And so I corrected this in writing to her. I corrected it to the president of the senior council, and I got no reply from them. I came down here, I talked to Mr. Gates. I was looking for the Chancellor. He assured me he'd pass on the grievance to the Chancellor. I also asked him to contact the president, ask him what the problem was, that, this attack was on me, my classes, and the senior program. Never got a reply. I haven't got a reply from him as recently as last week. I keep asking him these questions. I get no reply. I don't know what to say in the time limit that I have more than that. I have the grievance here. I've sent it to the office of the Chancellor. She passed it on to Ms. Robertson, and Ms. Robertson had problems even understanding the grievance. The answers she gave me were not to the questions I'd posed. So it's Madam President, Ms. Appleman, Madam President. They tell me that I have no standing and that I'm not an employee, and so that they don't have to answer any. This is what Ms. Robertson has stated, your agent. Okay, so I don't know how that can be when I'm parked out here in the employees' parking lot with employees' sticker. I have employees' badges. I get employees' discounts. I don't know what they're talking about. Okay, it looked to me like, I'm just getting run round and round the mulberry bush, So I have no other choice than to leave this in your hands. And I'm sorry to say that the class starts on Monday, okay? So, Madam, if you want to give me directions, I'm open to them.
I'm sorry, I can't do that at this point. I'm happy to have the papers, and we'll see what we can do.
Okay. Also, I have the original grievance. It's given to the Chancellor, but you'll accept that. And I also have the documentations that I received from the Chancellor's office and from Ms. Robinson, and my rebuttal to that those questions. I certainly thank you for this time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have a group representing South Campus: Jerry Barton, Layla Khan, Charles Credicote, I hope I didn't, Credicote, Mark Ingram, Alan Brown, Artemis Hales, Kimberly Bass. Welcome.
Good evening. Good evening. Chancellor Hadley, President Appleman, members of the board, thank you for allowing us to be here this evening. On behalf of the South Campus Biology Building and Chemistry Building, Physical Sciences, we'd like to say thank you to you. I teach anatomy and physiology there. I've been there 20 years. Chancellor Hadley actually gave me my 20-year pin this year, so it's a great honor and a privilege to be able to be here before you. And just to tell you thank you, also for Vice Chancellor Nina Petty and her team and all the work and planning that they did for the implementation for the renovations. I can tell you that our building has been transformed from labs that were once drab and very non-colorful to something that is very inviting. Yeah. I honestly, when I walked back in for the first time this fall, I didn't recognize the building. It's very inviting. You walk into the front, there's a lounge there for the students. There's got sticky spaces that pop. I mean, just the whole decor is something that's very inviting. I'm excited for the next 20 years, Lord willing, as I go on with this, to see the environment that is inviting to the students, that tells them to come on in. We've got a great environment for you, and we're going to be able to equip you for that student success. And so thank you so much for all your planning and your work. It's much appreciated. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Layla. I've been going to TCC for 3 years now. So I've been to almost every building, and the science building is my favorite one so far because of the things that you've done. So I want to say thank you. Everything about it is just so bright and so positive now that you want to learn. You want to stay there and further your education. I actually brought my little sister that's a freshman, and she didn't know her major until she saw this building, and she wants to be in the healthcare profession now. So the wet labs before were really small, and people had to drag tables in the hallway, and we were messing with cats and stuff like that. But now we have our own room to do that, and everything about it is just amazing. The labs are just good for everybody to be a team and work together. So thank you so much.
Can everybody hear me okay? Sorry. Chancellor Hadley, board members, thank you for having us tonight. I am Charles Credicote. I'm the coordinator of welding technology at the South Campus. I'd like to take the time to thank all of you for your great support of the renovation of the building, and also Nita Petty. Her team helped get the building rolling on the construction. We did this building in 53 days, so we had a very short window to get the building completed in and moved back in for the fall term. As I say, I'd like to thank the board members and all the faculty and staff there at the South Campus for all the great help they've done, and to the president for supporting us too. Thank you.
Mark Ingram from the South Campus. I wanted to say thanks for letting me speak in front of you today. The new technology, we're saying thank you for the new technology building. It's a great place. I spent 22 years in the military, and I don't know if anybody here has a military background, but when they say something's going to be done in 2 months, 3 years later, you're waving goodbye to the contractor. So I really had no expectation of returning to school when they said that we're going to have all this done in 2 months. Literally had no expectation of returning to school after the summer, and here I am. I'm already 3 weeks into the class, and it's great. The building is fantastic. It looks like a brand new building, and to imagine that they completely gutted that entire building and put in all of the wiring is just an incredible feat to even think of. So I want to say thank you. The building's great. I look forward to spending a lot of time there. TCC South Campus rules.
Yeah, my name's Alan Brown. I've been going to, this is my second year in that building. The first year I went there, wasn't really lit up too much. I mean, but now since the new lighting and everything, we got the new lounge and everything, and it is really great. And I really appreciate all the hard work that they did and how fast they did it in. Thank you.
Hello, Chancellor Hadley. My name is Artemis Hales. I'm an adjunct instructor in the math department at South Campus. So first, before I talk about Emporium, thank you for my raise. Thank you very much, and for my job. Amen. But I want to talk about the Math Emporium. It is very, very exciting. When you walk in, there's a student lounge. Students can check in through TutorTrack and sign in. There's a kitchen area if they need to relax or something for lunch. If they're stressed out, that area is for them. There's also 2 faculty offices right there, so they're experts on Math Emporium, so you can ask them any questions. And then when you walk in, there are 2 classes that are in session at the same time, and then the other area is used to tutor students who are just coming in for additional help. If they bring their own laptop, there's areas in the back for them to connect. Then there's also a testing center, so students can come in and test at any time, and also there are breakout sessions where we can do mini lessons. So once we get our class started, answer any questions, check the roll, then we go and do mini lessons in those breakout sessions, and that's for students who need additional help outside of the author of the book doing teaching videos and pencasts. And so it's quite exciting. It's a win-win situation because it allows students opportunities to take tests as they need them. And also it allows them to have some accountability for their learning and feel like stakeholders, because then they come and tell us what they need. And so it's very, very exciting. Thank you very much. I think our Emporium is probably the top anywhere on any campus. And so thank you very much. And also I want to introduce, I have a student, my student Kimberly Bass, and her husband who came as support.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Bass. I'm a first full-year student at South Campus. I'm in the pre-algebra, which necessarily says I have a difficulty with math, but I find that the programming that you've given us in the Emporium, at first it took me a minute to get in the groove of it, but now that I've started it and I'm into the program, I realize that it has a great potential for me to learn at my own pace. An ability for me to concentrate on my difficult areas during classroom time rather than struggle with it on my own. The ability to do the homework at home and to look back at my scores with this program that you've got for us lets me concentrate with a professor or a tutor on the areas which I have difficulty. I find that it's a great advantage for me to be able to take my tests at any time. I have a very heavy workload on Mondays and Wednesdays and a very light load on Thursdays and Tuesdays. So I can go in early and do math tests while I wait for my other class. I do like to thank you for the great decor, and it is an inviting environment. And thank you for letting me speak.
Thank all of you so much. And Dr. Jordan, did you promise some pizza or what? But it means so much to us at this table to hear from you, and it validates the decisions we make and helps us choose the course for the future. So thank you for coming down and sharing your thoughts with us.
Mrs. Appleman, if I may thank my students and faculty and staff as well. and invite the board just as soon as you can to get out to the campuses and see all the wonderful work that our people have done this summer, not just on South Campus, even though Dr. Jordan might like to think that it was all done on South. You, you will find similar work throughout the district, and it's really, really nice. Those pictures are beautiful, but they still don't do justice. You need to go and see yourself. So I'm very pleased to know that all of you, faculty and students, really appreciate the space, and we want you all to stick real tight now in those sticky spaces, okay? Thank you.
And please, you're welcome to stay if you like, or you're excused if you prefer.
Thank you.
Our next item is presentation on students' access and success and administrative programs and projects on Northwest Campus.
Mrs. Appleton and board members, I'm pleased to present Dr. Eva LeBlanc, the proud president of the Northwest Campus, to give you an year-end report on the Walsh Library, and I think you will learn some very interesting things. You say, oh, is this the library of 2013? Very different from libraries of yesteryear. Dr. LeBlanc.
Thank you, Mrs. Hadley, Mrs. Appleman, board members. We can continue the celebration. So I'm glad that my colleague, Dr. Jordan, started on a positive note, showing you the beautiful South Campus. I do have good representation of the Northwest Campus. We have our campus vice presidents and deans here to support our presenters, and if I could impose on them to stand so they know all the good people that we've got here for support. Indeed, as Mrs. Hadley states, the library that we used when we were going to college was a very different place from what we see today. And just to refresh your memory, several years ago, Northwest Campus accepted responsibility as a team for student success. So everyone on campus, regardless of what that person's job may be, they feel a sense of responsibility toward the success of each one of our students. And our library staff is no exception to that. So this evening we have our director of the library, Sanda McCurdy, that will be giving you an update, kind of a snapshot picture of all the different activities that are taking place in the library. And she will be ably assisted by April Martinez, who put the presentation together. So Sandra?
Thank you, Mrs. Appleman and board and Mrs. Hadley. I'm really glad to be here tonight. We don't get to brag on the library very often, and so this is one of those opportunities. I have a question for you, though, first. When you think of a library, what's one word that comes to your mind? I heard it. You said shh. Okay. What else? What else do you think of when you think of a library? Books? Computers? The shush and the books really tells it all. And those were the first things I think that come to mind whenever you think of a library. Well, I'm here to dispel that. Just wipe it away, because that's not true anymore. Do you remember that we used to call our library the Learning Resource Center, LRC? Libraries have been called information centers, they've been called lending libraries, book repositories, and media centers, and then a whole lot more. But in recent times, we're beginning to be called information commons or a learning commons. And you'll hear that those words more and more. I came across a PowerPoint presentation by a lady named Valerie Diggs, who's from a high school in Massachusetts, and this is her definition of a learning commons. It's a place of teaching and learning. Now, we're talking about a library. Keep that in mind. It's a place of teaching and learning, group work, collaboration, professional development, creativity, change, inquiry, and communication. And I'm going to put parentheses around that and say connecting. And then the last one is community. But I believe our library is defined by those words that I just read. But I want to pull out 3 of those words and talk about them specifically for just a second. Walsh Library, and in fact, all the libraries in the district. I have to put a plug in because we all work very well together. It's a fantastic group of library directors that I get to interact with, and I appreciate every single one of them. We're places of creating, connecting, and collaborating. Now, here's the first. We're busy creating a 21st century technology-rich learning environment. Our tongues are hanging out over that one. I can tell you that for sure. I started in libraries about 30-something years ago, and the card catalog was there, and yeah, that's what it looked like. And so it's just changed so much. And now we're automated. There's lots of things going on. When I walk across the library these days, this is what I see students doing. And I'm not going to say reading a book. I'll just tell you that right now. Some do. Practicing PowerPoint presentations and studying for biology exams in our group study rooms. They're checking out iPads, Color Nooks, Kindle Fires, Asus tablets, and Microsoft Surfaces to use in the library. They're scanning documents, they're working on laptops, they're listening to music, they're discussing a class assignment, and they're hanging out with friends. And I need to add here, they're sitting on that beautiful furniture that was installed in the library about a year ago. I need you to come and see it. It is really, really beautiful. It's in blues and greens to complement the lake that's right outside our big windows. And so come when you can. They're also watching CNN News, and they're using computers to register for classes, filling out financial aid forms, checking email, and finding information in the research databases. They're also attending library orientations, research skills instructions, and the information literacy workshops that we offer. They're getting one-on-one help in using the article databases for research assignments. Oh, and they're checking out books. We are also busy connecting with students, and now we're to the connecting part. So we're connecting with students both inside and outside of the library. The library loves to volunteer at the events that we hold on Northwest Campus, like the new student orientations and the Achieving the Dream Focus group sessions. And then this year, one of our librarians, Cassandra Mackey, served as the chair of the Student Success Conference that just finished yesterday. She's very tired. Any place you can find students, you're going to find librarians. It makes sense to us that the more actively involved we are with students outside the library, the more likely we are to see them inside the library or to connect with them through the online services that we offer, like chat and Ask a Librarian. And that one interaction could, in turn, tip the balance for that student to complete an assignment successfully. An information literacy workshop is also offered several times each semester, and the workshop supports critical thinking by introducing students to essential skills needed to find and evaluate, and effectively use information. I need to say an aside here that we've been doing library instructions for a long, long time. I've been on the campus for 15 years as a librarian, and I was there when we started teaching them how to use the internet. What I find now is that it's not that they can't find information, because there's a lot of information out there. What students are really having difficulty with is evaluating the information that they do find, making sure that they have good, reliable sources for the projects that they're doing. And that really is the difficulty, I think, at this point. And so let me not say it that way. I think that's the challenge for us all. We don't just wait for students to come to us. We love to connect with the students outside of the classroom, and one example is our work with dual enrolled students. Each year, Northwest Campus English instructors ask our librarians to come to all of the Keller ISD schools. We also go to Boswell, and we go to Saginaw High School, and we teach research skills to the dual enrolled English students. This last spring, this was a landmark moment. We were so excited to do this. We were invited by Central High School in Keller District, and we were invited by the English teachers that are in that school to come and instruct their students, their high school English students, in research skills, library research skills. That was very exciting for us. They knew what we were doing with the dual enrolled students, and they wanted all of their students to have that opportunity as well. April Martinez, who's one of our librarians, she's also the one that put this presentation together that you're going to see in just a second. I just have to brag on her. She worked hard on this. She's really good at what she does. And April and I worked as a team, and we did 11 instructions in the course of 2 days at Central High School. It was fun, and the students were very responsive and receptive to what we did, so it was good. And in fact, we've already been invited back for December, so we're looking forward to that. So we connect with the students not only in the library but on the high school campuses as well. And finally, I want to talk about collaboration. I don't want to leave that out. We have had fantastic opportunities during this past year to collaborate with the campus faculty and the staff and to enhance student learning that's occurred over the past year. And just a few examples, we collaborated with the government and history instructors in fall 2012 to offer a roundtable event entitled Scandals, Scoundrels, and Dirty Tricks. The history and the government instructors had such fun with this. It was attended by about 120 students, and they got to talk about elections of the past that were not handled very well. And they said, okay, this one's mine, you can't have this one. They had elections that they really enjoyed. And so the students here's the other thing, the students got to see the instructors in a whole new light. They teach in the classroom, but they were out of that classroom environment. They were inside the library, and they were standing there talking about things they knew a lot about. And the students responded. I sat at the back and watched the students, and they looked around at each other, and it was like, wow, I had no idea my instructor knew those things. And so it was a fantastic moment for those students to see their instructors in just a different way than they had before, and maybe say, hey, I liked what he said, I'm going to take his class. So that was kind of a little dividend to that. Then, this last spring, the criminal justice faculty planned and presented a one-day seminar on domestic violence entitled 3 Blind Men and an Elephant, Analyzing Violence. And we hosted that event in the library. It was very well attended as well. This fall, the government and the history instructors enjoyed so much what they did last fall that they're coming back on September 17th next week, and they have a special program planned for Constitution Day. So you're invited to come to that if you'd like. It's at 12:30 to 1:30, I believe. In fact, we've got a handout for you that tells you the time and the day. Another thing that happened was there was a special dance performance event. The English department started a one-book program for A Monster Calls, and the dance department, our instructors in our dance department wanted to do, and they created the dances for A Monster Calls. And so they came into the library and performed those dances. It was beautiful, and the students responded. And then Tony Roberts came and did some talks on A Monster Calls as well. Those were well attended. And then, in collaboration with the art department, an art space was created, and it features a rotating collection of faculty work, and this space is used by all the art department as a teaching tool for art appreciation students. The librarians work very closely with the STSC instructors. to provide library research instructions for them. We also created an online research guide that's on the library webpage that's used by all of the librarians and the STSE instructors in the district. TCC and me, last March, we invited students, elementary age students, to our library. So while TCC and me was going on, we had a reading festival in the library for those students and gave them books to take home. Over the past 2 semesters, we've got some English and history faculty that have been designing special classes, and they allowed us to come in and help in those in planning those classes, and then we got to do library instructions too. And then, last but not least, I could go on, but I won't because we're running out of time. Northwest Campus Health Services and the library are co-sponsoring a series of Focus on Health brown bag sessions in the library this fall. The first one's coming up on Monday, and it's called Healthy Nutrition on a Student Budget. And so we collaborated with the health services people and Toy and got that going, and we're really looking forward to all the brown bags we'll do with that group. So, focus, creating a 21st century technology-rich learning environment, connecting with students inside and outside of the library, and collaborating with faculty and staff to offer fantastic learning opportunities for students. And we've got, I think it's about 3 minutes long presentation. I don't know. I don't think we've ever timed it, but we've got a presentation. April's going to start that, and that's that. At the end, if you have questions, I'll certainly answer them. Oh, by the way, while she's getting it started, I'll tell you that I had Brandon, our library tech manager, I had him tell me they're going to start it. 19,650 people have been in the library since the first day of classes.
Thank you so much. We appreciate and applaud your experience, your expertise, but most of all, your dedication to our students.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you coming tonight.
Thanks.
And the great passion that you have for what you
I
do.
love it.
It shows. Thank
It's
you so
fun.
much
Thank
for
you.
that great report. Thank you, Dr. LeBlanc. It's really great.
We'll move on now to item number 4, board action items, the approval of the minutes. There is one correction, item 21 on the operating budget, just a typo. Chancellor Hadley proposed a budget of $361,826,000. There should be a comma there and $126. So with that correction, are there any others? The chair would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Move to approve.
Second? Any discussion? Motion by Ms. Vandergrift, second by Mr. Heed. All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Item number 5, consideration and approval of tuition for continuing education classes, the only item on the consent agenda. Chair will entertain a motion for approval. Dr. Morrison?
Second.
Second by Ms. Vandergrift. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 6, item number 7, committee reports. Audit and Finance Committee, Mr. Carter.
Yes, Madam President. We had an audit committee meeting at the end of the month. We wrapped up a couple of things, including a required audit of trustee expenses, which turned out to be okay for the last year. We have some other sub-areas that we're looking at internal audits for the upcoming year, student grants, district credit cards, expense reimbursements, accounts receivable, student club accounts, and some contract review, among others. That's about the sum of the session.
And from the Governance Committee, we did not meet this month. Institutional Planning, Ms. Vandergrift.
Yes, thank you. We did meet yesterday and really had a general discussion pretty much on the projects, not only in the academic and facilities master plan, but also, existing projects, as well as talking about the opportunity that we'll have with Alamo College coming up on Monday, which will glean some private-public partnership and financing mechanisms for possibly us to entertain. So we're looking forward to that. As we rounded out our discussion, we really tried to define our role going forward. And in light of the investment advisor that made the top of the list with the RFB, that would be PFM, we felt that it would be important for our committee to come up with a list of priorities of different projects that we're looking at in the near future. And so we do have a lot of resources to glean that through Nina's group and the master plan and what we learned perhaps from Alamo and different ideas that others have brought forth. So we'll be working on that. Then when we bring that recommendation to the board, prior to that or maybe after that, we'll have the investment advisor look at what we've proposed, and then that will trigger the contract. So anyway, that's where we are.
Any questions? Any questions of either of the committee reports? If not, we'll move on with our action items, starting with item number 9, consideration and approval.
I'm going to take action on those, accept those or not, number 8. Consideration, and then it says action on number 8 of the committee recommendations.
Just to accept them? I don't think we've ever acted on them before.
Okay. It just said action on the agenda.
I know it. Consideration and approval of amendment number 1 to the Fort Worth Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone number 4 Participation Agreement. Ms. Hadley, Mr. Payne?
Ms. Appleman and board members, we have a request coming to us from TIF number 4 asking you to consider a revision and amendment to that TIF. And we have Mr. Paul Payne, who is the president of Fort Worth South, Inc., and is the administrator for TIF number 4. We also have Mr. Robert Stearns, who is the interim assistant director for the City of Fort Worth Housing Economic Development Department. And we have Ms. Marguerite Jones, who is the business development coordinator and the TIF administrator for the City of Fort Worth Housing and Economic Development Department. So, Mr. Payne, you may come to the microphone and explain to the board what it is you want them to consider. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, and I appreciate the opportunity to address the board tonight. As mentioned, we're TIF number 4. We're on the south side, and I have a map here. TIF number 4 is just south of the downtown area, and many know it as the medical district. Before I leave that slide, there are 11 active TIFs in the city of Fort Worth. We're the second oldest. Downtown was the first established, and south side was the second one. These are the boundaries for the south side TIF. TIF 4 represents just under 1,300 acres, and it was created in 1997 as a 25-year TIF. I think most people, at least on the board, would know that a TIF is governed by state law under the state tax code, and governance for that would be to either a municipality or a county. So we're governed by the City of Fort Worth rules, so everybody's governed by those same rules established. And in doing so, you establish categories where those TIF funds would be used. That's what the project categories are, is in the project and finance plan for TIF 4. And longevity is established in advance, so 25-year TIF. The purpose is it has to be designated an area that's blighted and needs help to turn that around. And I think anybody that's been in Fort Worth for quite a while would agree that in 1995, when the efforts to start this TIF began, nobody would argue that that area was truly a blighted area and an area of disinvestment. Matter of fact, there were serious conversations with our 5 major hospitals of whether or not they should continue to stay there and invest in those properties. And it was a grassroots effort to come together and say, let's fight for this area. We need to make this a vibrant, contributing part of our city again, and they did. And I want to thank you all, because you're a part of that in 1997, to say we want to be a part of helping this area come back. And I think I'm going to show you some numbers tonight that I think you can be very proud to be a contributor to what we have done to change that area and make it a vibrant part. We got some things left, and that's why I'm here tonight. But we've come a long, long way since 1997 to turn this back into just a wonderful contributing part. So the basis that I'm trying to point out on this slide, it's a very important understanding, is that it has to be a blighted area to begin with, and these monies would be used they can only be used for capital improvements within the public realm to incentivize private investment to grow an area. And that's how they have been used. Our TIF board, very proud of the members that we have. These are the current members on our board representing the city and all the other taxing jurisdictions. The area growth, when we were established in 1997, for any TIF, you established the tax base at that day. Any growth from that is the increment that you would capture, and then those monies are captured, and it's a reimbursement pay-as-you-go. In the city of Fort Worth, we do not bond the money and pay in advance. We pay it as we go. So it's a very conservative approach of you don't pay beyond your means. And we've grown this TIF from the base of $233 million, 110%. We've more than doubled it. We've done a great job, far accelerated or exceeded our expectations of the growth of this area. Directly, meaning that where projects have come to this area and were incentivized by use of TIF, $421 million of private investment as a direct result. Indirectly, which is even more impressive, this area has grown by over $2 billion. And graphically, I want to show you what that means. If you look at the blue bar, that's your public funding. And as you can imagine, there wasn't a lot when we first started, and therefore not a lot of private relative to what happened later on. So the public investment is going down. And that's exactly what a TIF is intended to do. We have been held up in the city as well as in the state down in Austin as one of the best TIFs in the entire state of Texas because we're doing exactly what we're supposed to do. You see the decline in public and the increase in private. We have stimulated to get the growth going and turn this place around and make it grow. And it's working. It's working tremendously. This slide is to show you graphically that we're not getting a rifle shot into an area or help this side or over around 8th Avenue or just one project, that we have truly tried to grow the entire area. And I'm very proud of that, that we're working everywhere in our area to grow the area. And we have been recognized in magazines by 360 West on the activities that have come to life on Magnolia Avenue, saying that we are quietly and steadily becoming the home of the coolest, most vibrant, I like those words, restaurant town. So I use that. So Moncrief Cancer Institute really wanted to be in the medical district. We worked hard to work with them, and the TIF dollars were critically important to the plaza that you see in the toward the bottom of that image there. It would never have happened without an agreement with the TIF and our ability to do it. You would have had a much more, because I saw the plans and I sat down and I worked with Mr. D. Kelly and Dr. Keith Argenbright with the Moncrief Cancer Institute, and you would have had a much more industrial style building without the softening and the pedestrian interaction with that plaza. So the TIF really made a difference in how this building ended up looking. And I will tell you, there's a building right across the street now that's in work right now that's going to be a restaurant and office building, and behind that is going to be residential development. Never would have occurred without the Moncrief, so it's a catalyst for other development, and it's working in that regard. We never had a hotel in this area until just opened just over a year ago. And they tell me in the hotel industry, if you can open up and be in the black in the first year, it's remarkably unusual, and it's a great surprise. They are in the black first year. And I will give credit to TCU because by changing conferences, now their home games are against teams that are driving distances, and that's been wonderful for all our hotels. But this hotel benefited from that, and they're booked out. The other question, I just want to share this with you, is I asked the hotel manager, well, he asked me, what night do you think we're full consistently every week? I said, I'm going to guess probably a Friday or something. And he said, no, Sunday night. And you ask anybody in hotel industry, Sunday's usually your lightest. Why is that? Hospitals. People from the west area, Stephenville and that, are coming up to our area using our hospitals, and they're staying in the hotels because they have a loved one that's going to have a procedure the next day. So it's really working in that regard as well. This is a TIF project that we led the initiative on. We led the study on it. We worked with COG to do the leverage. I'm very proud as the administrator that I've tried to be very judicious in the use of these funds. And I went after a $3 million sustainable development grant through the Council of Governments, and we were the #1 project picked by the city of Fort Worth. And for the region, we were the #1 project by COG, and it was you either got $3 million or got nothing. We got our $3 million for sustainable development grant for the South Main, and I was able to work with the city and bring in more money. So the TIF has brought in $3.4 million of an $8.4 million renovation. We're in final design today, and we will start this renovation of South Main, a .9 stretch, very vibrant corridor, very much like West 7th, and that'll start in January. And you can see what I've tried to do with our TIF dollars by leveraging those monies and bringing in other dollars to help grow it and stimulate it. Here's another project that they hope to have under contract by the end of this month, 260-unit market rate apartment complex. It's where Quarles Lumber is on Park Place. Very good growth in that area. Here's Magnolia at Night. That Tree Lights was a TIF project, and everybody says it changed the whole character of that corridor, but I will tell you it was also changing the character and the feel and the vibrancy of the whole area. It's been a wonderful. So the status of the TIF 4 is that, or this request really goes back to, we took this to the TIF board back in November 2012 and then on to the council in December and was approved. And the proposal before you tonight is to ask if you would be willing to continue to participate in TIF 4. And this is a 25-year TIF. So the question before you tonight is not on longevity. The longevity is there, and nobody's asking about changing that. It goes through 2022. We're asking whether or not this board would be willing to contribute longer than you have. You're reaching your cap in 2 years from now. Sometime in 2015, you will reach your cap, and your participation agreement will be over. So specifically, we're asking if you would be willing, if a vote of yes tonight would mean that, and I'll have a graph here in a second, I'll show it, reducing your participation from 100% increment to 50, and then take it out longer and continue to give this to the 25-year longevity that was originally negotiated and agreed to by all parties. And every one of the other taxing jurisdictions I've already met with, and it has been approved, and I'll add unanimously. I don't even have a no vote. Everybody has believed in this TIF and has voted unanimously to support this request. It would total $45 million increase to the overall cap, totaling $90 million. Here's your performance to date in blue and the projected performance going forward. I went back 15 years of TIF. We average 5%, a little over 5% growth for 15 straight years. We've been very, very consistent. And I'm not bashful to tell you, it's our hospitals that have done that. Hospitals are the lifeblood of the area. They employ 22,000 people. Well, the medical industry, 22 of the 30,000 in our area. So they are absolutely the lifeblood. And the one thing we're missing is residential density. It was in the strategic plan established in 1995, and we have worked for 15 years to build an environment to attract developers to come in for market rate quality residential, and I feel that is the most critical part of my request tonight, is your support of this will help us to continue to grow that. We just opened our first one called the Phoenix, 170 units market rate, and they will take occupancy by the end of the month. You saw the second one I showed you there where Corals Lumber is 260 units of market rate. The third one's being proposed on Main Street. That's over 800 units in the next 3 years that could come online. And we have a fourth one being discussed that'll put us closer to 1,200 new units. And I will tell you, with the employment base that we have and those apartments, they're attracted to the young people that are either just graduated from college and entering into their careers in the medical field that want to continue their education, and TCC is absolutely on their radar of where they want to go to school and continue that education. And I think this employment base in that area is critical and a good reason why you should consider my request tonight to continue here, because I think we are very much a part of where your student base is coming from. And I know many of the faculty and staff live down there in the south area. So the annual increment, if you, today you see the 50% drop, that big blue line going almost straight down is showing that it's about $173 million reduction in the increment. If you voted no tonight, then, or let me put it in the positive. If you vote yes tonight, it would be about $173 million less payment for tax year 2013. And then the red line shows you're plotting out in the future. I hope that makes sense. Those are annual amounts. Does that make sense to everybody? And so there is an amazing renaissance in the area. We're off to a good start. We're not done. We got a lot left to do. The staff, I've met with Mark McClendon, who's on the TIF board, many times, at least 3 times on this specific, and of course through the whole process over the last year. And the staff recommendation to you all is to accept this request for a 50% reduction in participation and continue that out. And you are at a cap. It will cap you out so you know what that amount is, and you will not exceed that. It's just over $4.7 million total 25-year participation.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve the staff recommendation, and we'll have discussion following.
It sounds good. I hesitate to vote yes or no on things I don't really understand. This, I'm assuming that this was at 100% deferment from that. And at this point, we're going to drop it. We want to extend it, but we're going to drop it all to 50%, or just from this point, the additional?
Additional, going from this point forward.
and it still would end in 2022.
Or your cap, whichever happens first, sir. So you know what the end game is. Yes, sir.
The material is in your board packet if you want to look at it, which you received a few days ago. Is there a motion to approve, and then we'll have discussion?
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Dr. Morrison. Okay, now discussion, please.
I have one
Yes.
question, a statement. First, explain the cap again. Is that by law, or was that our staff recommendation?
Well, the actual number,
Our TIF.
yes. It's a little bit of both. I want to make sure that I give you a full answer. Tax law requires that in the establishment of any TIF, you do a project and finance plan. And in the finance and project plan of a TIF, you have to define not only how the monies, the categories the monies will be used in, but you have to establish what the cap is. And then each of the taxing jurisdictions also, in turn, will determine their participation, so the percent. And I'm asking for consideration of 100% participation down to 50,
Right.
and then plot that out, and then put an actual number to it specific to TCCD's participation, which is, I actually wrote the number down. It's, you would cap out at, now this is total, all year
The 22
participation.
years.
Yes. Well, in 2022, 25-year
2022,
total
okay, yeah.
longevity at $4,749,000. Your participation was, that one I didn't write down. I may have it in a backup here. I do. The far right in the red box is your participation there, and there's your annual increment in the red box to the right.
Right.
Your annual increment totaling out at that
22.
4.7 million.
Okay.
And that's all inclusive. So to
Got it.
date, through 2012, you paid 2.2 million.
Okay.
I think the
That's
graph helps
clear,
give
yes.
clarity to your question.
It certainly does, and it's interesting that we're having this conversation because we haven't had a presentation with the TIF in a while, and I think it was around 2005, 6, 7, in that time range. We had a moratorium on TIFs because I think we were at 19, and then we eked up to 22 or 23. I'm very supportive of TIFs, and with that moratorium, we stopped and revisited where it was going, and I know Nancy has the material, but it was all increases, and it was terrific to know that we're supporting such a positive structure. So.
If I could add, I care about what I'm asking. Is it reasonable? And so what I did was I said, if you participate to the end, what would your payback be? It's just over 4 years. In about 4.5 years, you will fully recoup the 4.7.
Right.
That's pretty remarkable. If somebody offered me that on a personal level, I think I'd take it.
Right, and in addition to that study, we also went from our 100% participation to 50% as a general rule. So,
Yes.
The
so
early
we're back.
TIFs were all at 100%, and then we rethought it, and everything since has been at 50%. So this would be in keeping with our usual participation in TIFs. Mr. Heath?
If I turn it on. Yeah, and I'm pretty familiar with that area because I worked in there for many years, and what has been accomplished is just unbelievable. It's amazing, the revitalization of that area.
Thank you.
Because it was the pits. It was really bad.
Yeah.
It was an area we used to describe as moving up and moving down at the same time. I mean, it was really bad.
It used to be a mass exodus at the end of your shift. You'd just go home. You'd get out of the area. You wouldn't
quickly.
even buy gas there. I'm serious, and get out of there. We've had a 76% reduction in overall crime. Our stats are slightly better than downtown, but I'm quick to caveat that to say that downtown has a higher density. My point is we're on par with overall safety. I think the TIF's contribution to the tree lights gave a connotation of a safe, wonderful place to come, and that stimulated growth. I'm very pleased with what we've done, and also I'm very proud that we're trying to leverage the dollars. It's not just spend the money and wherever we can. I'm working on a deal right now with the city to do a match to do our street improvements, which are very expensive. If we put in $5 million, they put in $5 million, and we double that, and then we get economies of scale. When we go in and do a road together, we all save money. And so and just like we did with the Sustainable Development Grant, I used TIF money to go get grant money and leverage those dollars and make our money go further.
Are you involved in the Rosedale?
Yes, sir.
Restructuring?
Yes, sir, I am. But I will tell you that I had nothing to do with TxDOT's decision not to listen to the request to do the renovation as a part of the whole overall project. So when I came on board in 2005,
That had been accomplished.
yeah, and so I'm trying to fix a wrong. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
It's true. When I read the story the other day, I was questioned by my in-house counsel, and I said, I knew that was coming, because I remember when we had the first argument. Any other questions or discussion?
I just wanted to make a point. I guess in the mid-1990s, I was in a urban studies doctoral class that actually studied the Mid-South, what we called it then, with the idea to make a set. And at the end of that class, the conclusion was that it was a lost cause. That was, I think, 94, 95. So, clearly, but that shows you how long these projects can take, because at this point, you're already 23 years down the road. So
It is a success story, thanks to you and your predecessor,
Yes.
my
Don
neighbor,
Scott
Don
gets a lot
Scott.
of
credit.
A lot of credit.
He did. A lot of people worked hard on that. And all right, are you ready for the question? All those in favor of the staff's recommendation to approve the amendment to number 1 to Fort Worth TIF number 4? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous. Congratulations and
Thank
thank
you so
you.
much.
We look forward to working with you and enjoying.
Thank you. Just for
Magnolia
clarity,
and
this was the
Rosedale.
last board, so that makes it unanimous and that makes it complete, and we are done. And I will love to come back anytime you ask me to give you an update on this TIF, because I have a lot to brag on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul, for being here tonight, and thank you, to Margarita, and Robert. Appreciate all of you.
hiding
Thank you.
All right. Item number 10, consideration and approval of job order contracting, the JOC method of construction delivery, and approval of the JOC general contractors for a period of 2 years. I have to read slow so Mr. Herndon can make it to the podium.
Mrs.
Our
Appleman and board
wounded
members,
warrior.
I hope you will be pleased with the report that you will hear from Mr. Herndon. He and his staff have worked really hard to bring this to you tonight, and of course, he'll be asking for the board's approval. Mike, welcome to the podium.
Thank you, Chancellor. And Ms. excuse me, members of the board, as you recall, back in April, we came to you and asked you to approve contracting with the Gordian Group to develop a custom JOC program for Tarrant County College. The Gordian Group completed their custom price book earlier this summer. Once that was complete, our staff went out and did a lot of outreach, had several sessions at different campuses to bring the contractor community up to date on what we were doing, the change in the way we were doing it, to make sure they were comfortable with it, and so that we would have a good response to the RFP. Soon after those sessions, we issued the RFP, and at the close, we had 20 responses to that request for proposal. A evaluation team from that was comprised of members from real estate facilities, purchasing, as well as the supplier diversity team, went through and thoroughly evaluated those responses and scored them and ranked them 1 through 20. After they completed the ranking process, they recommended, primarily because of the smaller anticipated number of contracts over the next 2 years, a pool of 7 firms, which are listed here. Staff recommends that the Board of Trustees approve the use of the job order contracting method of construction for our smaller contracts under $500,000 and approve the pool of JOC general contractors for the next 2 years. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Motion to approve staff's recommendation. Ms. Vandergrift, seconded by Mr. Heed. Discussion, please. Yes. Oh, before I call the question, I had warned Mr. Herndon I would ask this. Brief us and everyone in the room, under this arrangement, if any of us are approached by contractors about doing work with and for us, what is the proper procedure?
I would request that you direct them to my office, and if it's construction related, myself and Jorge Espinosa, who's in the back of the room, who's our construction purchasing manager, generally will sit down with them. Often we'll include Andre, especially if it's an MWB opportunity, to let them know, one, what projects we may have on the horizon so they'll be aware of those, and also how to go about doing business with Tarrant County.
Thank you. If you're ready for the question, all those in favor of approving this recommendation of Jock Contractors? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 11, consideration and approval of final deductive change order with Chambers Engineering for Phase 1 of the new entrance roads and traffic signals at Southeast Campus. Ms.
Mrs.
Petty?
Appleman and board members, we're always pleased to get money back, and you will see that the next two are both deductive change orders, and Ms. Petty will walk you through those.
I will. Good evening, Chancellor, President, and Board of Trustees. I wanted to take the opportunity to very quickly thank the board for all of your support on projects, as you hear about every month, and particularly the South Campus. I promise I didn't put them up to that tonight. I was pleasantly surprised and wanted to thank Dr. Jordan publicly and his team of faculty, staff, and students that were here tonight. What music to my ears to hear students and faculty get up and talk about the learning environments and how it helps them learn. Aren't we spending our money the right way? That is just great. I always like to quote Winston Churchill, who said, we shape our buildings and our buildings shape our lives. And that tonight was a great example of seeing how the money that we're spending, we're doing it great. And I have to thank my team. It always takes a village to do these things. Our director, Kirby Chadwell, and his team who are out there every day, every night, and on weekends on those 55 days to get those things built and the pictures you saw. So anyway, I couldn't miss that opportunity to thank everybody for their efforts. So back to, and I love this part because we get money back so we can turn it back to the students. The next three, actually, 11, 12, and 13 are all deductive change orders. The first one's at the Southeast Campus with Chambers, and we are getting back $26,138.57 as a deductive change order, and we're seeking your approval.
I move for approval.
Mr. Heed moves to approve. Second? Second by Ms. Vandergriff. Any discussion? All those in, I'm sorry.
I do have a question. What is responsible, who is responsible for these deductive change orders? I mean, how did you obtain these? I think that's important for us to know that.
So when we do these contracts, we basically just manage the contract in an effort to always be able to try to get back savings. So when we establish a budget, in each of these cases that you're going to see tonight, I have to thank my staff for the excellent management of those contracts and being able to bring back dollars to the district. And that's as simple as it happens. We just don't spend all the money that we budgeted to spend and that we put into the contract.
Does any of this involve the consultants that we've hired to look at our contracts?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's a village. It absolutely takes all of our folks to manage these contracts the way we do, and especially on the financial side to make sure we're not missing anything. So all three of these, I think, are great opportunities.
You might want to explain to them that this really happens on both sides, the front side and the back side.
Mm-hmm.
The front side when your people do the value engineering.
Absolutely.
But we also have the consultants that we hire in on that. And then they manage it to the best of their ability and hold the contractor's feet to the fire. And generally at the end, there also are savings there because of that. So
it's the expertise of being able to question everything from in the design phase, do you really need that, and how can you value engineer it before it ever gets to the construction contracts. These three are all under the construction contracts. So once the work is going on, it's really managing that work as it's going on to see where you can either leverage work that you're doing, not necessarily cut corners, but doing the work that within the scope that's laid out in the contract, but also being able to deliver value back to the district, so.
Good.
I mean, I got to really credit the extended team in managing these contracts. That's really how it happens. It's they're being on top of it every single day and questioning the things that are happening out in the field.
Good. Thank you.
Other comments or questions? If not, if you're ready for the vote, all those in favor of approving the receipt of $26,138.57, please say aye. Any opposed?
It's a tough
Item
one.
number 12, consideration and approval of final deductive change order with Byrne Construction Services for renovation of the Fine Arts Building at Northeast Campus.
Move for approval.
Any discussion, questions? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And finally, number 13, consideration and approval of final deductive change order with Lee Lewis Construction for the new firing range at Northwest Campus in the amount of $259,867.76. Motion to approve.
Move for approval.
Mr. Heed? Second. Mrs. Vandergriff. Questions, discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Now she's going to start spending our money.
But this is a great one because it's for the Innovation Forum. So this is the first one you're going to see at the Southeast Campus for renovation for the Innovation Forum for $177,822.50. This is a not to exceed. So again, if we manage the contract, we'll bring it back some savings.
Motion to approve item number 14. Mr. Carter moves. And Dr. Morrison seconds. Discussion, questions? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Item number 15, consideration and approval of indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity pool service authorization agreement with Perkins and Will for architectural design and engineering services for the early college high school at Southeast Campus.
And if you recall, last month you approved the delivery method for the early college high school. This is going to be another one where you're going to get to see Kirby Chadwell and his team run because they are literally under the gun on this one to get it opened for the Southeast Campus for next August. So this is an important contract.
Motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Mr. Heed, and seconded by Ms. Vandergriff. Any discussion, questions? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed?
We're going to now move into some operational. So all of those have been really construction related. This next one, item number 16, is for $654,000 not to exceed contract with GCA Services Group, who has been our out task group to do work for us both on the custodial and landscaping side. This is specifically for a contract for September and October to extend some work with them while we have put out an RFP to revisit that work, how we're doing it district-wide. And you'll hear more about that next month, but we need an extension of their contract for the next 2 months.
Motion to approve item number 16, BuyBoard cooperative agreement with GCA Services Group to provide custodial services. Motion to approve by Dr. Morrison, seconded by Mr. Carter. Discussion, all those in favor, aye. Any opposed?
Again, item number 17 is also with GCA for the Trinity River campus and the Trinity River East campus. This is the third year with the group and the final year under the contract with GCA to do the work. And as you can see, it's for $968,840, which is divided up between how we do maintenance with them and ground services. And on the last line of the memo, you can see how that's broken up. Asking for your approval.
Motion to approve BuyBoard Cooperative Purchasing Network cooperative agreements with GCA Services for grounds and maintenance services at Trinity River and Trinity River East campuses in an amount not to exceed $968,840. Mr. Carter, seconded by Ms. Vandergriff. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Item number 18.
This next item is for our district fuel, so that we have fuel for our fleet, and it is an interlocal agreement with the City of Fort Worth to purchase fuel from Martin Eagle Oil for $296,000.
Motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Mr. Heed, seconded by Ms. Vandergriff. Discussion. All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 19.
is our last item tonight. Also on the operational side for district elevators, agreement is to provide elevator and escalator services for $240,000 not to exceed.
Motion to approve. Dr. Morrison? Mr. Carter, seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Petty. Item number 20, Mr. Marshall, consideration and approval of district-wide purchase of Dell computer desktops, laptops, and monitors.
Thank you. I'd like to add that we buy these every year. The exciting part of this purchase is this year, working with Mike Herndon, we used a new purchasing method called reverse auction. And in that process, over last year's pricing, we saved over $500,000 watching two vendors bid each other down to our benefit. And you know, I've used this before in other organizations, and it excites me because it allows us now to take that money and do other things with it. But it's also a model that I think we can extend throughout a number of commodity purchases at the district. So I'd like to present the item for over 2,400 devices, the amount not to exceed $2 million.
I have a quick question, Madam President. Everything I read in the Wall Street Journal says this is a troubled company. Does that concern you?
They have to perform. If they don't perform, then we can remove them from our consideration and move on next. It's actually a combination of Dell, SHI, and University Computers. Dell provides the equipment. SHI provides the management of moving the equipment from a Dell location to a warehouse that's local in Fort Worth. We don't have warehouse facilities for this amount of equipment. And then University Computing is a local vendor that preps the equipment for us. So if they fail, there are other vendors of this equipment that are readily available. Lenovo was the other competing vendor, but also HP. So the hardware is a commodity item right now. So it's not a question of if one fails, where do you go? There's a lot of computer manufacturers out there.
Yeah, I was mostly concerned about the support that you would then have for this equipment that you would already have purchased and owned.
It's the world we live in. It's when you buy any piece of hardware, you have to depend on the vendor at the time. This was a competitive bid agreement, and Dell has been in the market for many years. You can't ignore them as a manufacturer of equipment. They're probably the #1 manufacturer global of personal computers. If they go out of business, we'll be partners with many organizations that are looking for a different opportunity.
Star Telegram likes them too. Move approval.
Mr. Carter moves approval of the recommendation, and Ms. Vandergrift second. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, Mr. Marshall, go spend your $2 million. Item number 21, consideration and approval of annual renewal of Ellucian administrative software.
This is the software that we use for paying our paychecks and tracking our student records and managing our assets. This is the annual maintenance award for this software that we've been using successfully for the last decade and a half.
Motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Mr. Heed, seconded. Ms. Vandergrift, any discussion, questions? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 22, consideration and approval of purchase of Oracle database application software in the amount of $647,525.06.
Software typically runs on 3 different platforms. You have the operating system for the environment. You have the application, which I just mentioned, which was the Ellucian. And the middle piece is called the database software. The district standardizes on Oracle, and we have purchased a number of their products in the past. The document that you have in front of you is for 3 separate contracts. Since we put that document together, we've working with procurement, and it's now in one single contract. I will enter into the archives the actual single contract, And in doing so, the amount changed by $47 to our benefit. This is for an enterprise license to use the software however we see fit.
Motion to approve. Dr. Morrison. Mr. Carter, seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mrs. Hadley.
Mrs. Appleman and board members, I am pleased to call on some of the CALP members to present to you I believe we have three new, not necessarily all new, but in new positions with the college. And the first one that I'll do since, oh, he's back. You're back. Okay. Dr. Carlos Morales, you've been sitting there all the time. Today is his birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Come on up, Carlos. Happy birthday, dear Carlos. Happy birthday to you. Da 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 da. Carlos has a person to present to us tonight.
Thank you for that, everybody. Good evening. There she is. I'm pleased to introduce to everybody Miss Candy Center. She is the new director of Weekend College at the Southeast campus. Candy holds a master's degree from the University of Oklahoma in communication. Her bachelor's degree is from Oklahoma Christian College in speech and theater. Miss Center comes to us from Massachusetts, where she began her career as a full-time faculty member teaching speech communication in face-to-face, hybrid, and online modalities. Miss Center was a member of academic leadership teams supporting college and statewide initiatives in online learning, non-traditional programs, and academic areas. Most recently, Miss Center has served as a consultant with the American Association of Community Colleges for the Sustainability Education and Economic Development Center and the Economic and Workforce Development Team. So with us tonight is Ms. Candy Center.
Welcome.
Welcome.
You're supposed to say hello at least.
Hello. Thank you very much for the opportunity to work with the district, and I have the professional richness to serve with two presidents, Dr. Morales and also Dr. Coppola, and he's bribed me to say that I work on the best campus, Dr. Jordan. But there you go. It's a wonderful opportunity and great to be back in Texas, so thank you very much.
Well, thank you for being with us. We appreciate it. Okay, our next introduction comes from Dr. Eva LeBlanc, Northwest Campus, who has a person who's been with us for a long, long time, but is now in a new role.
Yes, it's our pleasure to announce the selection of Ms. Lisa Benedetti as the Humanities Divisional Dean on the Northwest Campus. Lisa earned a Bachelor of Arts in Speech Communication and Master of Arts degree in Speech Communication with an emphasis in intercultural communication from San Jose State University. So we borrowed her from California. And actually, I need to thank Dr. Darledge, because this was an act of kindness on his part and the Vice President to share Lisa with us. She served as Assistant Professor of Speech and Director of Forensics on the Northeast Campus, and was also Department Chair of Communication Arts on the Northeast Campus. She is a graduate of the Future Leaders Institute, an innovative leadership seminar hosted by the AACC, and a Tarrant County College Leadership Seminar graduate, and a North Texas Consortium Leadership and Renewal Academy graduate. We are thrilled. She has this very positive, super energy that has infected the entire campus, and it's just wonderful to have her. So please help me welcome Lisa Benedetti.
Welcome, Lisa. We're pleased to have you. I know the Human Resources Office is not going to be happy about your new assignment, because you may not be able to help them with all of the training that you've
We're
done all
already
these years.
planning training.
Oh,
I'm
you're
going to continue.
You're going to continue to do that. Very
Chased her
good.
down.
Very good.
Thank you so much for this opportunity that you've entrusted me with. I'm so excited and feel so honored to be serving the Northwest Campus as well as Tarrant County District in this new capacity. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Dr. Bill Coppola has a new vice president he wants to present to us.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to bring new people into our district. I want to introduce Dr. Zena Jackson as the Vice President of Academic Affairs at the Southeast Campus. Dr. Jackson began her career in the Dallas County Community College District in 1985 at the district office in a staff position. She then accepted a career planning and placement position in 1988 at Northlake College and has progressively advanced during her tenure in Dallas Community College District. When she left Northlake to come here, she was Executive Dean of the Liberal Arts Division, where she worked closely with students, faculty, and staff to uphold the values of the college. She also held the positions of Interim Vice President of Instruction at Eastfield College. In addition to her Executive Dean's position, Zena has been the Director of the Career Center, the Adult Center, and served in the dual role as Technical Dean and Instructional Dean of the Business Division at Northlake. She is dedicated to students and believes strongly in helping them fulfill their goals for college success. Dr. Jackson also was a faculty member teaching Education 1300 Learning Frameworks. Zena is committed to community involvement and servant leadership. As a volunteer, she has dedicated more than 10 years to the Citizens Development Center in Dallas as a board member, vice president, and then president. The CDC exists to help adults with disabilities lead productive lives in our communities. Aside from the CDC, she is active in her children's respective PTAs, booster clubs, extracurricular activities, and community organization. Zena holds a PhD in higher ed education from the University of North Texas, an MA degree in urban affairs from the University of Texas in Arlington, and a BA degree from UNT. Zena and her husband Jerry are married for 25 years, have 2 children, 21 and 16. And with that, I am pleased to have her join our family at the Southeast Campus and at Tarrant County College.
Welcome, Dr. Jackson.
Thank you, Chancellor Hadley and board members. Thank you, Dr. Coppola, for bringing me into the Tarrant County College District family. I am so thrilled to be here, really I am, and Chancellor Hadley was the first to help me to realize how fortunate I am to join this family. And I am very fortunate. I've had a good 3 weeks at the Southeast Campus. I've learned more about sticky spaces than I ever knew existed. The training that I've experienced so far has been all about student success, and I can see that mirrored everywhere I go. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And now our last person is certainly no stranger to us, but is in a new position. Nina will introduce.
Thank you.
The next person.
I'm very pleased to announce to you this evening the promotion of Mr. Gary Prather, who is Associate Vice Chancellor of Real Estate and Facilities. Gary is one of our homegrown. He received his associate's degree in the Applied Science program and has worked in the field of mechanical construction for over 46 years, has extensive experience in educational facilities, obviously, but also in very complicated projects such as hospitals in his previous life. He began with us back in 1997 as a construction representative and became a director 9 years ago and oversaw both our operational area, which is, our plant operations and custodial and landscaping, before starting focusing on our construction in services team. And so about 18 months ago, he established an in-house construction team that is really doing a lot of our smaller renovation and repair and has built a really great, diverse team down there. Gary's got a unique combination of both of these experiences, which makes him really ideal for this role going forward, which is going to allow me to do some more strategic things, I think, for the district. He's been instrumental the last 4 years in really setting up our budget. This year, as you know, it's $74 million in both in Fund 40 and our new building fund of $20 million and the $35 million on the operational side. So under his responsibility and leadership, he's really managing almost a third of the budget. many people hear me call Gary our Boy Scout. I always say if you looked up Gary's picture in the dictionary, it would say integrity, loyalty, and dedication. I call him thousands of times a year, and every single time, I don't think he's not answered the phone, which is pretty amazing, 24/7. At 4:30 a.m. in the morning, you can find him at his workstation. So if you wake up in the middle of the night and you want to talk about real estate or facilities, call extension, what's your extension, Gary? You can talk to Gary Prather because he is at his desk at 4:30. There is not a person, I think, in this district that works harder. So I'm very proud to present the new Associate Vice Chancellor of Real Estate.
Yeah, Gary.
I don't know what to say, but thank you. I had to start with Dr. Wells. He gave me my first chance as director. Then Nina Petty came through, but nothing would ever happen without you, Chancellor. You have been there since day one to prop me up and get me to where I am today, and I thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you, Gary. Did you do Margaret yet? Okay, all right. Next month, okay. All right, so thank all four of you, whether you're new with us or new in a new position. I know you're very, very excited. Dr. Jackson said I was the first one to remind her on the very first day that I met her, and I had never seen her before. She was at our new faculty orientation, and I asked her if she was happy to be here, and she said, yes. I said, well, you don't act like it, jump up and down, shout, do something. So we are very, very pleased to have you. She did. She jumped up and down. She shouted. So we are very, very pleased to have you. I want to give a special shout out to all of our faculty leaders who are starting one more year with us. Our very fearless leader is Christina Miranda, who is the chair of the JCC, along with her very fearless cohort and vice president of the president-elect of the JCC, Mr. Stephen Brown. Christina from the South Campus, Stephen Brown from Southeast Campus. Okay. You're playing it that way? All right. And then we've got Justin Brumman. Where's Justin's back there? There's Justin. Thank you, Justin. Say your campus, Justin, because I'm not remembering. Trinity River. Speak up, Dr. Fuller, because I'll claim him for somebody else. Angela Chilton. Did I see Angela come in? But other than Angela. Who gave me this list? No one's claiming it. Christy Duquet is here. I know Christy. I know Christy. Christy is Trinity. Yeah, he's on my list. I'm coming to him. It's a minute before I get to his name. Robert Edmonds is next. Robert from Northeast Campus. Paul is not here, is he? Paul Lester from South. Oh, got it right. Karen Silverberg from Northeast, and she's not here. Karen's not here. She's teaching tonight. Cecilia Sublett is Northwest. There she is. There's Cecilia. Thank you. George Edwards from Northwest. And Greg Dewhurst from Southeast. Very well. Well, we thank you so much for signing up for this great job that you have here representing the faculty. We are very pleased to have you with us tonight. I don't have any campus accolades in the book tonight because the campuses have been so busy they haven't had time to tell you what they're doing. We'll make it up next time, but suffice it to say that they have been busy enrolling. Our official number today, I guess we go until midnight, Tim? We go until midnight until we cut off the count? Or, I think actually the official count was midnight of last night. 50,994. That's our official count. Yes. So I will tell you that I've gotten emails from a number of CEOs around the state community colleges moaning about their enrollments being down 5%, 6%, some 7%, and TCC just keeps going up. So get some sticky spaces to keep those students hanging in. Very good. So, Madam President, that's all I have for. Oh, I do want to say one more thing. Joe McIntosh was here earlier. I don't know if he's left or not.
No, he's still
Joe's
there.
still there. I can announce that you can still get your tickets for the foundation's fundraiser with Bill Cosby because they're all gone. We're completely sold out, and that's wonderful. That's great for our students because all that money is going for student scholarships. So that's a wonderful thing. So Dr. McIntosh, stand up and take a bow. We are very pleased. It's so good to have you here.
You could show them this because I bet they never see it.
Well, you're right. Here's a beautiful picture of our, this happens to be the biology faculty. And Christina, you're right there up front with the faculty members who got the award. You're on the front page of the Levita newspaper, and along with all of our other award winners, our faculty winners, and some of the others. So that's very, very nice.
Okay, open it up.
Open it up.
There's page 2, the Chancellor's Awards continues, and then there's page 6, Cosby appearance to help TCC Foundation fuel students' dreams. So
Yes.
that's right.
It's good publicity for us. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Morrison. That's all I have.
All right. Almost all of you were at the Chancellor's breakfast, which was wonderful. Thanks to many, many folks who put that together. And I hope the rest of your day went well. I couldn't join you. Many of us were also in attendance at a summit, an education summit sponsored by the Greater Fort Worth Real Estate Council, held on Trinity River campus. And that's always a nice occasion, particularly because there were probably 200 people there, and I'm guessing many of them had never been on that campus before. The Chancellor gave the opening welcoming comments and, of course, a few infomercials about TCC, as she is supposed to do. Wes Turner, the retired publisher of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, was the moderator, and the panel featured, you can see to the Chancellor's right, the 3 superintendents of Fort Worth ISD, Crowley ISD, and White Settlement ISD, as well as former Congressman Secretary, now head of the Richardson Foundation, Pete Guerin, Bill Thornton from the Fort Worth Chamber, and help me with his name, from J.P. Morgan Chase, Todd Ritterbush.
CEO
How can you
Chase.
forget a name like that, from the CEO of J.P. Morgan Chase? The discussion obviously was K through 12 education, but because of our involvement, and I understand Ms. Petty helped put together the forum, and thank you, Dr. Fulkerson. I know having company is always a lot of extra trouble, but I think it's worth it to us when people are on our campuses and see our facilities and hear from our people. And of course, the main topic of concern was the perception of public education. And as a result, there will be a continuing involvement and engagement, I think, of the business community, which is always good when they recognize the import and impact of public education on economic development. So already some continuing plans have been made to involve other real estate council divisions of that world, and probably some other forums. So thank all of you who came that day and helped represent Tarrant County College. We will now go into a closed meeting. We do not anticipate any action. Is that correct, Ms. Robinson? So the closed meeting will be deliberation of real property, Section 551.072 of the Texas Government Code, deliberation of personnel matters, Section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code, and consultation with the attorney, Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code. thank all of you for coming. Our next meeting is October the 10th, which is not the usual Thursday, so we'll see you at that time. Thank you.